I was just thinking maybe if there's any way that you could maybe show me how to, could you get into character?
You want me to become Miranda right
Is that
now?
possible? Could you just
Yeah,
do
I can do it.
Hey, it's been a while since you saw my face. I haven't been doing so great, so I did.
Hey, it seems this is the only way she'll listen.
Okay, hi, what's up, weirdos? Oh my god, bonus video I wasn't gonna film, but like, I'm filming and editing and posting this right now.
On June 28th, 2023, one of the most successful comedians in YouTube history sat down to respond to the worst allegations of her career. She had spent 15 years building an empire on that platform, a Netflix series, Broadway, world tours, 10 million subscribers. She had every crisis management option money can buy. And she chose a ukulele. 10 minutes of song. It became one of the most infamous videos ever uploaded, and it accomplished something 4 years of accusations had failed to do. This series has spent 4 episodes on children who grew up in front of the camera. This episode is about the children on the other side of it, and the adult they grew up watching. Colleen Ballinger's story begins as a genuinely great showbiz story. 2008, a classically trained singer from Santa Barbara invents a character as a joke Miranda sings. Red lipstick applied like a crime scene, delusional confidence, zero talent, and a catchphrase aimed permanently at her critics, haters back off. It was a parody of every self-absorbed wannabe on early YouTube, and it was genuinely funny. The internet agreed at industrial scale, and Miranda became one of the platform's first true crossover stars. Videos with tens of millions of views, magazine covers, a touring schedule that ran for over a decade, all of it powered by one character in a pink sweatsuit.
Bam! Miranda, you're famous.
And unlike almost everyone else in this series, Colleen converted internet fame into the real thing. Sold out live tours year after year, the Jimmy Fallon couch in character. A scripted Netflix series, Haters Back Off, 2 seasons, built on her family's own creation, Broadway. By the late 2010s, Colleen Ballinger was not a YouTuber who got lucky. She was a legitimate entertainment franchise. And the engine of that franchise, the thing every tour ticket and every algorithm boost ran on, was one of the youngest, most devoted fandoms on the internet, kids. Overwhelmingly young girls, who grew up with Miranda the way earlier generations grew up with cartoon characters. Meet and greets sold out in minutes. Merch lines wrapped around venues. Parents bought the tickets, but the devotion belonged entirely to the kids.
God, I didn't know this was happening. There's a shirt right here.
All right, how do we do this?
Yeah, I will do it.
How can I help you?
And Colleen's superpower, the thing fans always said set her apart, was closeness. She noticed you, she replied. She brought fans on stage, remembered names, invited the most devoted into her orbit. In a fandom of children, that closeness felt like magic. Years later, a wave of those same fans grown up now would look back at that exact closeness and describe it, on the record, very differently. The fans were never just the audience. The fans were part of the show. Here's how the inner circle worked as described, later and on the record, by the people who were in it. Devotion had tiers. Watch every video, you were a fan. Run a fan account, you might get noticed. Get noticed, and you might get pulled closer. Group chats with the star herself. Small tasks. Inside jokes. Real attention from the most important person in your world. Former members have described those chats as thrilling at the time and, in hindsight, deeply strange an adult celebrity in conversation with an audience of mostly teenagers about topics they say no adult should bring into a room full of kids, their accounts. Hold that phrasing. It matters more in this episode than in any other we've made. Because in April 2020, one of those kids grew up and pressed record. Adam McIntyre, an Irish fan who had been in Colleen's orbit since roughly the age of 10, uploaded a video titled simply, "Colleen Ballinger, Stop Lying." In it, he described his years inside the machine, running her Twitter account as an unpaid young teenager, boundaries he says never existed, and one incident that would follow her forever, a package she sent him as a so-called joke when he was 13, containing lingerie. A kid telling the internet that his hero's famous closeness had not, from the inside, felt like magic.
Hi everyone, before this video begins, I just want to tell you that I've been making daily videos recently, but I just want to tell you that I'm going to stop for a while.
Colleen responded the same year with a 13-minute video titled Addressing Everything. And in fairness, that video did address things. She acknowledged the lingerie package was real and apologized for it, framing it as a joke that never should have happened. She disputed his other characterizations. Separately, that same year, she apologized for resurfaced sketches from her early career containing racist caricatures. The internet processed all of it the way the internet processes most things. A rough month, a subscriber dip, one news cycle, and then everyone moved on. Colleen kept touring, and the fandom kept growing up.
Hey guys, I know this is not my typical video that you are used to seeing, but recently some things have come up that I feel like I need to address.
For 3 years, that seemed to be the end of the story. It was not the end of the story. It was the part of the iceberg visible from the boat. Because the kids from those group chats were aging out of the fandom one by one into adults, with adult vocabulary for what they say they experienced, and screenshots they had never deleted. And in June 2023, they started posting. It began again, with Adam McIntyre no longer a shaken teenager, but a 20-year-old creator with his own audience, uploading a nearly 2-hour video laying out his entire history with Colleen, receipts included. And this time, he wasn't alone. Other former fans came forward with their own accounts of the group chats. Allegations of an adult star discussing wildly inappropriate personal topics in chats they say included minors, of private information shared without consent, of closeness handed out as a reward and withdrawn as a punishment. Allegation after allegation, each one attributed to the person posting it, each one date-stamped, and every single one to this day, an allegation. Mainstream outlets picked the story up within days, and for 1 week, Colleen Ballinger was the biggest story on the very platform that made her.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So I am aware that the last video I posted is being talked about a lot.
One thread pulled in a second celebrity. Former chat members alleged that Colleen had shared another creator's adult content into those group spaces, content belonging to Trisha Paytas, her former friend and podcast co-host. Trisha responded publicly, describing it as a violation and severed what remained of their professional ties. Old tour footage resurfaced too, stage bits involving young fans that, viewed in the new context, drew a fresh wave of criticism. None of these claims has ever been tested in a courtroom. Remember that, because we are coming back to it. But by late June, the volume was deafening, and the internet wanted a response. And oh, did it get one. Worth pausing on what made this reckoning different from every other creator scandal of that summer. The accusers were not rivals, journalists, or anonymous accounts. They were the fandom itself, the exact children whose devotion had built the empire, returning as adults to testify about how it felt from the inside. Whatever you conclude about any individual claim, that structure is the story. A machine powered by kids' love, audited years later by the same kids. No other episode in this series ends up here, where the audience itself files the complaint. June 28th, 2023. A 10-minute video appears on her vlog channel, titled with a single word, Hi. Colleen sits down, picks up a ukulele, and sings. For 10 minutes, she sings that the accusations are lies. She sings that her words were twisted and taken out of context, her claim then and since. She sings that the internet has boarded a, quote, toxic gossip train. She sings many things, and the one thing she does not do at any point in those 10 minutes is put the instrument down.
So a lot of people are saying some things about me that aren't quite true. Doesn't matter if it's true though, just as long as it's entertaining to you.
It is difficult to overstate what happened next. The video sits above 20 million views, and it is not a stretch to say almost none of them are sympathetic. Toxic Gossip Train became an instant global punchline remixed, covered, animated, synced to roller coasters, charted in rhythm games, comedians reacted, lawyers reacted. Every creator with a camera reacted. 15 years of goodwill incinerated in the length of a pop song. Tour dates came off the calendar. And within weeks, so did she. The woman who had posted through everything since 2008 simply stopped posting.
News, a YouTuber that you grew up watching is actually a terrible person.
And here is the detail that turns the ukulele from a bad decision into a case study. Before that video, this was a messy, contested story about group chats and screenshots, complicated, deniable, fundamentally arguable. After it, none of that mattered. The response became the scandal. People who could not name a single allegation could hum the apology. 10 minutes of ukulele accomplished what 4 years of accusations had not. It made the entire internet agree about Colleen Ballinger, not necessarily on what she had done, but on how she had answered for it. Then, silence. For months, one of the most consistent posters in YouTube history posted nothing. And in November 2023, she came back the way she left, on her own terms, in a low-key vlog, addressing the storm only glancingly, and returning to the format she had run for 15 years. Daily life, family, Miranda. The strategy was unmistakable, outlasted, and to a degree, it worked. The core audience that remained hard. Touring resumed smaller rooms, but real ones. The comment sections repopulated. Because the internet, which forgets nothing, also moves on from everything. By the first anniversary of the ukulele, her view counts had stabilized. Her vlogs were routine again, and to a casual observer, the whole affair might as well never have happened. But this story refuses to close because it keeps getting reopened. In November 2025, more than 2 years after the ukulele, Colleen addressed the allegations again in a new apology video. The commentary sphere's verdict was immediate and brutal. Reaction videos calling it, quote, another terrible apology, and, quote, worse than ever, pulled 7-figure view counts within weeks. And in the spring of 2026, she responded yet again to everything, to much the same reception. Whatever she is trying to end, the pattern itself is now the content. Every response spawns a news cycle, and every news cycle demands a response.
I wish it could be a little bit longer. What's up, weirdos? Colleen Ballinger is back!
Right? You guys having fun? All aboard the toxic gossip.
So let's do what this channel exists to do, and lay the receipts side by side. On one side, multiple former fans, adults now, whose accounts of the group chats, the gifs, and the closeness have stayed consistent for years on the record, under their own names. On the other, Colleen's position, equally on the record that claims were exaggerated, context stripped, her words twisted, and that her worst verified mistake, the package, sent to a 13-year-old, was a tasteless joke she apologized for back in 2020. And wrapped around both sides, one fact this episode needs you to hold: no charges were ever filed. No lawsuit exists. Every verdict in this story has been rendered in exactly one court, the one you are sitting in right now. Which brings us to why this episode belongs in this series at all. 4 episodes, 4 girls raised in front of the camera, Alabama, born into it, Danielle, thrown to it. Piper, manufactured for it. Lil Tay, written for it. Colleen Ballinger is the 5th chapter because she completes the machine. This is what the other side of the lens looks like. The parasocial closeness her empire sold was not an accident of fame. It was the product. And the customers were children. Every previous subject of this series was a child the machine consumed. This is the first episode where the machine wore the face of the person the children trusted most. That is the real subject here, bigger than one comedian, one package, one ukulele. An entire economy runs on making young fans feel personally seen by strangers, at scale. Every creator with a young audience holds that power, and almost none of them have HR, oversight, or a single person in the room whose job is to say no. Whether you believe every allegation against Colleen Ballinger or none of them, the structure that made those allegations possible is not disputed by anyone. It is live right now in a million group chats you will never see. That is not a defense of anyone in this story. It is the reason this story will, sooner or later, repeat itself with a different name attached. And her fans, the ones who spoke out and the ones who stayed, agree on exactly one thing. The closeness was real. It is what made the fandom feel magical, and it is what made the fallout feel, to so many of them, like a family collapsing rather than a celebrity scandal. That is what parasocial means when it stops being an internet buzzword. The star had 10 million relationships. Each fan had one. So who is Colleen Ballinger in 2026? Still touring, still vlogging. Still, by the raw numbers, one of the most durable creators the platform has ever produced, and still, every few months, back at the center of the same storm, holding a new response the internet has already decided not to accept. Her accusers, meanwhile, have kept their receipts up and their stories consistent. Nobody has sued anybody. Nobody has retracted anything. The story does not end, because neither side needs it to. 5 episodes into this series, the experiment finally shows its full shape. It was never only about what cameras do to the children in front of them. It is about what the machine does to everyone it touches. The girl on screen, the family holding the camera, the platform taking its cut, and the kid in the audience, staring at a phone, feeling personally chosen by someone who has never met them. In every episode of this show, somebody monetized that feeling. This episode is what it looks like when the feeling grows up and files a complaint. Maybe you were in a fandom growing up. Most of us were a channel, a band, a streamer who felt like a friend who simply hadn't met you yet. So before you pick a side down in the comments, and please do, that's what they're for. Answer one honest question for yourself. If your childhood hero had messaged you back when you were 13, would you have seen a red flag? Or the best day of your life? And how sure are you really that you would have known the difference?